Right, hello. So the title is pretty self-explanatory. I've got one of these as a gift for Hype because he sent me some stuff for, and we sort of trade goods now and again. So basically, an MD3 meter because I think he liked the look of them because of how retro and clunky they are. So I'm going to clean all the bag up and everything for him, but because these keep turning up as surplus, a good price at the moment in the UK. They're worth getting. So I haven't tried it yet. So what we're going to do on the stream is he should be on in a minute. We're going to test it all powers up. I haven't actually tested this one yet. Yeah, it's got all the calibration stickers on. It's one of those meters at the back there. It's an old radiation detector. Wow, not all that old really, because they're a retrofitted design from like the late 80s, early 90s. So anyway, we'll wait and see if he comes on in a minute. He should be on. All right, Mike. And then yeah, when he comes on, we'll actually test it. And like I said, then I'll clean up all the bag because it's a bit grimy from age. But oh, in World War One, Tom. Yeah, I know about that. But yeah, these are pretty hefty. You could weightlift with these, really, couldn't you? Because they're pretty hefty, big metal radiation detectors. But this isn't from the 9th century, Sebastian. It's from the late 20th century, maybe very early 21st century. Yeah, Alex, but yeah, it's mostly because these bags are actually from the 1950s because they're the original Radiac bags they reprinted. Sometimes you can see on these, yeah, you can see on this one just about, but I don't know how easy it'd be to see with the lighting on here, that you can see the text they've kind of rubbed off and printed back over with the new thing on there. You can see some of the faint text underneath, which is always quite interesting because, again, these are Mark II. I did a video on it recently, but Mark II Radiacs refitted into MD3 meters. Well, that's essentially hands what the Avon M50 is and Scott GSR. Yeah, it looks a bit like an ammo crate, except it's like vinyl rubber stuff, not a metal case. But otherwise, it's very similar in terms of shape. Yeah, it buttons up rather than Well, Polish MP6. Hopefully, I might get one at some point. If I get one, I can review it. But until I get one to review, I don't know. But you'd hope it would be good. So, all right, Briggs. So yeah, at the moment, we're just waiting to see if he comes on. I'll block the guy who's just insinuated I liked basically raping people in quite a hidden way. But yeah, I'm not too stupid to fall for that, you prick. Anyway, not many ways, Boogie Boy, other than keep it out of bright light and everything else. Yeah, Scott, weirdly, lots of whole Geiger counter things and that are very similar. There's not a gas mask in here. Right. Tell you what, in a minute we'll open it and start doing it, and then if Hype watches the stream back, if he's not on, he can actually see it. Yeah, Avon S10s are good. So anyway, get the big clasps open. There's a little tool in there, but I won't use that one because they're pretty useless. Right. There we go. So, an MD3 meter. Let's give it a test. So, I've got a D-cell here. I've got a screwdriver. Let's see if all this actually works. So, we're going to try first the actual main bit of the meter. And then I'll test the bulb in it. So that's that one. Pop a D-cell in. Nah, I'm not really into the Assassin's Creed games. I liked Assassin's Creed 2, but that's one of the very few ones I actually played. The others I just sort of got bored with. So right, that's that. Let's power it on and see if it works. Ready? So let me hold it like that. Then oh, there we go. Battery test is functioning, so it works. Put it on. And then we'll see if the needle drops down to 0 like it should do. Sometimes with these, they don't do that due to age, where like moisture's got in there. So let's see if I can get the needle to go down so it works properly for him. Firstly, I better put it on the 0 thing because I haven't actually set the 0 for it yet. Right, the 0's not set, so that could be a problem. Let's set the 0 first of all. Right, there we go. I think that's the 0 set now. Now, what I might have to do is just leave this running for a bit, because at the moment it says it's at about 80 centigrade per hour, which we know it's certainly not. Right, see you in a minute, Mike. So I think this is just going to be a case of, not that it's detecting levels of radiation. PBFs you can get for, there are PBFs on eBay quite easily, unless they've all sold out. So what we'll do is we'll put it back down to the lowest measurement. Actually, if I keep it on the highest measurement, let's just see first if opening the calibration port does anything. See your planes if you're off. You can get these for £35 in the UK at the moment. Right, that made a bit of a hissing noise when I opened that, which was interesting. So it's obviously been done up really tight. Yeah, the reading is slowly dropping, which is good news. So if you see it now, it's at 60 centigrade. So what I'll do is I'll just leave that running as it is. We'll go back to the stream, and then they're very good for the price if you want an old radiation detector. If you haven't watched the videos I've done on them, S10, they're old radiation detectors that the British Army and RAF used. But they're kind of like retrofitted ones, where they had a really old one. Then basically, rather than throwing them all away or selling them at one point, they had an old circuitry inside retrofitted. On eBay, they are literally just called Geiger counter, even though it's not actually a Geiger counter. If you search Geiger counter, you might find some for sale. They look like that. Yeah, a lot of sellers do that. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's a bit of a reputation behind the original masks. But yeah, I just need to position this where I can see it. The needle is still dropping down, which is good. It's about 56 centigrade now. If an S6 is in good condition, Briggs, it'd be absolutely fine if you put a new filter on it. At least it's 40mm NATO, so it's not hard to put a new filter on it. Also, I've got some replacement bulbs here, so if the bulb inside is gone, I can sort that out. I've got some bright old incandescents, and I've got some LED versions of incandescents. I want to try the LED ones in there, in all honesty. Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. It does help. But yeah, I've not really done much today. I got up, had some breakfast, filmed a video, listened to some radio, doing the stream now, you know. All right, good. You're on height. So if you missed the beginning, it works, but it's giving a high reading at the moment. So what I've done is I've opened up the port, and the reading is slowly going back down to 0, as it should be doing. So we're going to leave it on for a bit. That's all right. We're going to leave it on for a bit. Then I'll test the bulb afterwards. But it started off at over 100 centigrade. Now it's at about 45 centigrade, 50 centigrade. So it's slowly dropping down. So then once it's down to 0, we'll do all the lamp functions. But I think a lot of these, due to age of not being turned on, the needles kind of start going crazy when you first use them. Because yeah, if I go to that function, look, that's off the chart. But if I go to that one, it's there. So once it gets under 30, I reckon I can go down to the next range down, and it should be. Eurofighters are cool, but I don't know all that much about them in all honesty. But I'm not that much into modern planes as much as they're cool. You know, I kind of like old retro prop planes and that. Not really the Klansman radio stuff, Snoz, but I do find some of the other, like, you know, era that's from, the radiation detectors and some of the vehicle systems interesting. All right, cool, Mike. So yeah, at the moment, it's just a case of letting that MD3 warm up, of maybe being in storage for 10 years. What do the calibration stickers on it say? Calibration void if sealer is broken. There you go. It was calibrated in 2001, this one, Hype. If that focuses. Don't know if it's going to focus, but what's it say on the back there? NE something 72. They've stuck a sticker over. That's interesting. But yeah, UKAS calibration. Calibrated it on the 20th of the 7th, 01. And it was due for recalibration in 2002. A lot of them seem to have been gone into storage around the early 2000s. And then it seems that obviously it's only recently they've all turned up on the surplus market. No worries. Like I said, I think you'll really like this because they are great old clunky radiation detectors. And obviously the thing you'll like is this. It's got that really nice big clunky thing. Anyway, we're down to about 45 centigrade now. Actually closer to 40 centigrade when you look at it the right way around. So in about 5 minutes, we'll see what it's at. Yeah, it's exactly, it's the opposite issue to that Hype. I think though it's because of how ion chambers work. I think the issue is what ends up happening is over the years of them being storage, moisture gets in. Moisture in ion chambers gives them artificial high readings. So what ends up happening is when you turn them on, they've not been used for ages. It gives a really high reading, and then as it warms up and water evaporates out of it, the needle starts going down. All right, Ian explains. Which state are you in New England? But good morning to New England. I hope your weather's all right. But New England would be kind of like the closest, I guess, in America to UK weather. Rain. Yeah, that would be it, I think, Hype. So if you want me to, I can replace the retro silica gel that's in there that's all dried up at Connecticut. So yeah, if you want me to, what I can do is unscrew the old thing, put you some new silica gel in, reseal it up, and then just ship you the old bit with it in the bag. Because they use a really old kind of weird... It's kind of like a pencil-shaped thing, like a pencil pen-shaped thing that was filled with some old silica powder. But again, they're completely useless with how old they are now, so you want to replace it with silica gel to get more accurate readings. But yeah, up to you if you want me to do that. But as I said, I've got a bag of silica gel here, so if you do want that done, I can just pop one of those inside for you. Whenever I sell these to mates, I do that for them, just so they give more accurate readings. Right, we're down to almost 40 centigrade now. So when it's down to 30, all right, Richard, this will be when it's interesting because we can see if we can go down a range and then we'll be able to more accurately take a reading. Charlie says, Kentucky here. Any thoughts on the 3M701 black-orange filter adapter? It's hard to find, and there are not many filters out there. Is that the one that lets you either put 3M filters on 40mm masks or the other way around, 40mm on 3M masks? It's a good idea in theory. Sadly not, Hype, because it seems like it's kind of this glued in thing. Let me get it out and show you, because I can take it all out and show you what it is without so yeah, it's glued in almost due to age, but I'll get this moving. But yeah, what this is basically it's kind of like a thing that's there that is starting to move. It's obviously glued in with age now. But yes, I think in theory, if you put a power drill in it, you might be able to put some, you know, like new silica stuff in. But how I do it, I just put a silica gel packet in it. Yep, that's the MD3s. That's what you want, Floof. The sellers put some more up for that price again, although they're just called Geiger counters on the listing, and these are not Geiger counters. They are definitely ionization chambers. So I've opened them up and showed them before. But let's get that moving. There we go, that's twisting now. So in a moment, I can get this open. I'll show you what it looks like. One of my rifles, probably, because they're several £100. That still needs to loosen up a bit more of the pliers before I can move it by hand. Yeah, you can tell this is... All right, cool, yeah, I'll do that. I'll check the lamp for you in a minute, and then if we know if the lamp works or not, I can put a modern, really bright LED bulb in there, so you can read it in the dark properly, if it works, so you can keep the incandescent. Right, so this is starting to turn now, because this is definitely glued in and become useless due to age. So, let's have a look at it. So I've never had one of these where this is still in good condition, but yeah, that's your thing. So, oh, that's a smaller one. Some of the ones I've had, some of them are much bigger than that. Yeah, there you go. That's the old little incandescent, not incandescent, you know, like silica thing they come with. So let's pop that off there. Then yeah, that's obviously the inside of the detector. I'll post a link, Floof, in a moment. But yeah, what are we down to now on the reading? Just over 40 centigrade still. So yeah, let me put that down a second. I'll post a link and then I'll put some fresh silica in there so it starts bringing the reading down faster. Where are you ordering it to, Floof? Bear in mind, this is a chunky unit. These aren't, you know, these aren't lightweight little detectors. These are like, you know, several kilos. Let me link you to the seller. Yeah, the idea looks really nice when they were new, but obviously the issue is loads of these now have just completely dried up and turned into a solid brick. And sometimes when I've carefully tried to open them, they've just split and sprayed silica, like, you know, powder everywhere. But let me link you anyway to the unit, just for the people who want one. And then I have to shorten the URL, because where I've bought them before, it will want a load of things for them. Right, I need to find it. It should be £35. Let me just, I can do the thing, can't I, where I can set the beginning price. £35. There we go. Now, are there any turning up on a listing? Sometimes they seem to turn up and sometimes they don't. There's free rate meters for £39 plus postage. They're cool, but that wasn't what I was looking for at the moment. There's somebody still selling a Plessy for 45 quid, which is actually a good amount of money for one. But again, that wasn't what I was looking for. Are they just not turning? Here we go. I found the. Let me look on the seller's profile, because sometimes you can go on their profile, you can't find them individually, but then, you know, sorry, you go on their profile and you can find them, you know, but when you try and look on the eBay search, it doesn't find them. So let me try and find whereabouts on here with all the shitloads of stuff they've got for sale, because it's like it's not actually a surplus seller that's got these, it's like a wholesaler. I guess got a load of old MOD stock with everything else. Right, have they got any more left, or has the listing ended again and they're going to have to put more on? Oh, I don't think they've got any more in for 35 quid at the moment. I said I had to wait. Oh, they have. So I can sort by price and they don't turn up. And then if I search Geiger counter on their account, they turn up. Right, here you go. Apparently they've still got more than 10 available and 42 have sold now. So there you go. They do one where they bundle it as well with stuff. But again, postage to the UK where I am is free, which is pretty good considering how heavy these units are. Only rad, Stephen, only in the sense of it'll cut down the beta radiation, alpha radiation can't get through, but it won't do anything to stop gamma. The main point is they're easy to decontaminate. Oh, you're in Hong Kong, Floof. Yeah, that's why with hype, I'm actually, you know, sending it to him privately rather than trying to get a seller to post one to him, just because they'd probably then capitalize on the postage. We're under 40 now, but anyway, let me sort that decontestant out, or whatever it's called, discontestant. I can never remember the word for it when I finish my coffee. Sadly, it doesn't in real life, though. Otherwise, the Chernobyl liquidators, all they'd have had to have been done. Hello, Combine. Yeah, no worries. Right, what you should be able to do with these, there we go. Carefully unscrew these. Yeah, there you can see where that's all completely dried up in there. So I'll put that standing up on the desk so it doesn't spill everywhere. Now, what we can do now, because we've obviously got that bit. Annoyingly, I don't have any smaller silica gel ones, but these will work. Is get a silica gel packet. Basically scrunch that like that there. And then what we can do is feed it through into the rate meters housing. So basically it's just a case, because it won't get in the way of any electronics here. Actually, which port am I meant to be putting it in? Yeah, it definitely is that top one. Right. So it's a case of getting this in here. Like so. Oh, and amazingly, since I've started shoving the silica gel in, the radiation level has immediately started jumping down. So there you go. That's the silica gel shoved in there, the new silica gel. Then we'll just re-screw this up. If I can get the threads to connect. There we go. Oop. Right, that's that nice and tight. Right, I was going to say if I had some americinium handy, but I don't think I do in this room. I could actually show you the needle moving right now. But there we go, there's that. So let's cover the alpha port back up again for the calibration. The Fat Man launch is based on the Davy Crockett. It is a real thing. So immediately after putting the silica gel in, you can see the needle has dropped a lot more. So what we'll do now, go down to the next range. And yeah, look at that. The needle isn't off the chart now on this range. So if we leave it even longer to dry out, now it's got the silica gel in there, it should keep going down until it eventually gets to 0. So there we go. So that's that. While we're doing this, we might as well have a look at the bottom of the detector. Let me just get these screws back up tight. So yeah, if you find radiation detectors boring, you'll probably find this a very boring stream, but I find these quite fascinating. So basically the bottom bit is where the bit was originally for checking for beta contamination. It's not done anywhere near as well on these as the CDV 720s, but it is still a cool thing. So basically what you do is you take the bottom off. Some of these screws, again, are always a little bit rusty, so never want to come out too well. And then you can get at the thing. Oh, the thing isn't very descriptive. Any idea who did Vladimir? I certainly didn't. What's your Discord ID again, Vladimir? And you sure it was just my Discord, not Discord in general? But yeah, we'll sort you straight out to get back on there. But if I find more Romanian gas masks for a good price, Stalker, like all those things, it just comes down to not paying too much for them. But at the moment, I really need to seriously take a break from buying things, because I keep saying I'm not going to buy anything else. And then, of course, lots of old lab military kind of radiological equipment starts getting surplused. Mr. VSS 1851. Let me re-add you. I can check the ban log, but I've certainly not blocked you. Right, so I hope you heard that hype. It had a really good noise as the old seal came undone then. So, oh, that's cool, Stuart. Right, I'm just trying to get this off without screws falling out somewhere, but I might have to just put them on my desk for now. Define a face mask, Alva. Let me load up Discord in a moment, though, for you, Vladimir, and have a look why you're you can't get on. If not, I'll just send you a new invite. But, right, there we go. So there's that. Then what you get is this. So basically, what the idea is, when this is on here, beta radiation can't get through. When you open this up and snap it back, that's the beta window. So it's not perfect because all these old ion chambers, and no matter if it's this one, that German Stallungsspurgeracht, or whatever it's called, or the CDV 720s, none of these old ion chambers ever seem to be very good at picking up beta radiation. I have no idea why. They've got the beta windows on them, and in theory they can do it, but when you put them actually on the beta sources, they never seem to react to it. I don't know if it's that it has to be a beta source above a certain amount of energy, and strontium-90 is too low energy, which doesn't really make much sense, but anyway, yeah, we're now getting close to 10 centigrade. But yeah, the idea with this is that basically it stops contaminants getting into the ionization chamber and keeps, moisture out, but it's kind of like film stuff that lets beta radiation through. We'll leave that off for now, and then when it's dried out, we'll see if I can put like some autunite underneath it and see if the needle moves. And if you really wanted to hype when you get it, you can unscrew all those screws. You can take this film off and you can use it to detect alpha radiation by just literally plonking it down on an alpha source. Yeah, the thing is with these is, the reason I like these so much is they are the polar opposite of this thing. Literally the polar opposite. This one, the German one, is basically way more functions and very flimsy. So there's that. And then there's these, which are a lot less functions, but they're really, really solid, And that's why I really like these compared to the German one, because good luck accidentally damaging a rate meter. Not a rate meter, sorry, an MD3. Because they are, yeah, as much as the Germans might be a lot better than us Brits in some ways at designing stuff, I don't think the Germans ever realise how to make stuff completely idiot-proof. Right. Anyway, let me sort out Vladimir's thing, because he shouldn't be banned from Discord. So let me see what's going on with that. So, Mr. VSS, let me just send you a new invite to start with, Vladimir. Then tell me if the invite works. Right, there's a new invite for you. Hopefully it's just, you can accept that and you're straight back on. Yep. I still want to get Vladimir a DP2 ionization chamber detector, but sadly I can still not find any of those to be exported from Russia. It worked. So you weren't banned then. I don't know, but just you somehow left the server or got kicked by accident, I guess. Yeah, the Discord's for people that have donated. Well, Patriot, there's something I'm not allowed to hold on stream, but if you just look there, or for the people saying, see that big bolt action there? That's a live firearm. But again, it's one that falls under British law of being an antique, so it's therefore not a gun. Again, our laws are quite different from what people think. Okay, it's at 8 centigrade now. Thank you, Stork. You don't have to, but again, it's for people that want to get on the Discord. It's just that way it keeps loads and loads of weird little kids out, really. Do I have a spare D-cell lying around? Because if I have a spare D-cell, I can check if the light works without having to take the battery out and swap it to the other compartment. But I don't know if I've got any D-cells at the moment which aren't already being used by something. Probably don't, unfortunately. Yeah, you can either do it via Patreon or just via YouTube Super Chat. But for the people who didn't see it on yesterday's stream, big dirty Soviet scintillator. Vladimir's on. Vladimir, can you tell me what the label of this actually says? So there you go, Vladimir. If the webcam will focus on it, what's the actual name of that in English? Because loads of different people seem to say different letters. RMG 301. Cool. Right. Let me Google that because I just couldn't find any pages of info on it anywhere. All right. Cheers, Vladimir. So both you and Hype said the same thing. So it's definitely RMG 301 because I can't remember which it was. I can't remember if it was the seller had a different name for it or other people were trying to say it was something else. But yeah, there we go. Let me Google that and then maybe translate it into Cyrillic and Google it and see if I can get some thing on. But which Alex, was it Discord? Not Discord. Was it Patreon or Super Chat you donated? Because I can look you up on either one to see which you've done it on. If my hands didn't shake so much, Stephen, due to dyspraxia or whatever they call it, I can look you up. Anyway, let me search RMG 301, and then if that doesn't work, I'll use Google Translator to put it into its original name, and then see if I get any results come up. Again, not getting much come up from that. So now if I go to translate, hopefully I can get that back into the Cyrillic. English to Russian. I just want to do it. If you've got your keyboard handy, Vladimir, is it possible just to type in how the letters appear on it? Just so I can actually copy and paste that in and see if anything comes up. But yeah. GZ says, okay, never mind, I'm leaving. Thank you. Thank you, Hype. I don't know why the person's randomly saying they're leaving, but thank you, I'm getting results now. Thank you very much. Now I can bookmark these. Right, and there's a page where people are discussing it, and it says, the comrade purchased on the hammer from the seller, well known to many forum users, this device, RMG 301. This device was primarily interested in the fact it has a scintillation detector and a remote probe. Unfortunately, complete set of the device is far from complete, except for the remote control of probe and documentation. Range of determined levels of gamma radiation, Rontgen an hour, 0.005 to 0.4 Rontgen. Again, this is where some of the scintillators, not this one, maxed out at 3.6 Rontgen. But if anybody's interested, I will link them to this webpage that's come up because there's lots of... this might be the one I'm looking at. Yeah, that is the one I'm looking at the moment, Vladimir. But thank you again, yeah. I bookmarked that now because it's nice to actually have a page on it. I've got C cells in it. Is it meant to run on C cells? Yeah, it's 1.5 C cells. So yeah, that's a nice thing. It at least runs on C cells, not some weird obsolete battery. But oh, so in the thing, it used to come with a check source. C287, whatever that is. Cesium-287, is that a thing? But yeah, looks interesting, but thank you. I'm glad there's a page now so I can do a bit of research on it before I do the video. Thank you, Vladimir and Hype. She sells seashells on the shop floor. That's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? But Alex, let me look up. Did you donate on Patreon, or did you donate via Super Chat? Because I can look you up. I can Control F you. Yeah, I would GS Electric, other than the fact that because I'm not in the States, they very rarely turn up for sale here. And if I buy one from the States, the shipping and tax on them is insane. But they do look cool, but, you know, sadly, due to the fact I'm not in America, paying more than the price of the meter to have it delivered is a bit insane. Anyway, if I go to monetization and then I go to supers, I can look you up, Alex, because it actually lets me look through historical streams on this now, which is really good. So Alex J, yes, you did. Post your Discord ID, please, Alex, because he said on April the 27th, cheers for keeping the daily streams up. I'm never here in time, but they're keeping me sane, looking handsome too, if not too weird to say. And he also donated £1 on that stream. That's a really handy feature now. Too late, I've read it out. But yeah, it's a really handy feature now. You can actually look back and see who has donated on them without loading up the live streams, because YouTube's done a thing now where you can look at historical super chats on the page, which is really, really handy for me, because it means obviously I can find out if people are telling the truth when they say they've donated or not. So yeah, post your Discord ID, Alex, and we can invite you. Right, I kind of have hype. So from when I was playing around, but I've not played around with check sources enough on it yet, how it seems to work is there's two sensitivity controls, and I don't think it's zeroing. I think that's sensitivity. I think that's the zero, but the plastic sheared off with a screw underneath. So how it works is setting number 7 on this one is the most sensitive. Setting like 1 is the least sensitive, essentially. Looking at that chart, I don't know if that confirms that, or because I assume that's for radiation levels. So it's saying for radiation greater than that, be on 1. So I'm pretty sure from what I've played with, 7 seems to be the most sensitive, and I guess because that's saying the ranges it runs on. So that's for that. And this one also seems to be sensitivity. So having this one set to like 0, essentially, on this meter and 7 on that makes it the most sensitive. But again, it's nowhere near as good as like modern scintillators for picking up radiation. I actually don't think this is as good in some ways as like a DP5, but yeah, I mean, I've just got the gain set to max because it's not all that sensitive, but yeah, it definitely works. You can see the needle move. It's just not as sensitive as I'd have hoped, but I'll definitely do a video on it. It's a cool little device. It's a lovely little compact actual box for the time it was made in the 70s. Just the probe's pretty bulky. Whether or not, though, you could put a modern scintillator probe on this, I don't know, because if you could, it would work a lot better. T-3485 Stalin, it is an old Soviet scintillation detector. But, yeah, GS Electric, it's a Soviet scintillator. It's just not very sensitive because it's so old. And I guess Soviet technology wasn't that good with old scintillation stuff, but there we go. So it's a giant probe and it's still not that sensitive, but it's a very, very cool device and it does work, which I'm very happy about. And unlike some older Soviet stuff, it actually takes a standard battery type. 3 C cells one way, 3 C cells the other way, with just a little thing there. All right, cool, Vladimir. Let me look what up you've just said. All right, Alex, let me add you in just a second. I just need to Google what Vladimir is saying before I lose it in the chat. Ah, cool. So is that like a more modern one? Is that the Chernobyl 3.6 Rontgen one? Because of like 1 millirontgen per second. But yeah, I have seen that one before, but I didn't know what it was called. Right. Where's the stream? There it is. Right. Let me add you, Alex. It looks like you've done it correctly. So let me try and put it in Discord and we'll see if it works. Home, friends, add friend. Yep, it worked. This is the funny thing. Some of the people who are Discord noobs managed to get their ID right the first time round, or people who know Discord a bit better don't ever seem to do it. But anyway, once you accept that, there we go. Invite server. There we go. Done. Zero to 0.1 micro Rontgen. Yeah, that's pretty intense, isn't it? Because a micro Rontgen is smaller than a micro sievert. But yeah, what I could try doing, Hype, is replacing some of the parts, because it did come with a load of spare parts. Wow, so the highest sensitivity is still very, very, you know. Anyway, what was I going to say? It came with some spare parts, and because I've got a couple of spare scintillators now, so for the people who didn't know when I said this, I got that big Alpha Draw scintillator the other day. That same seller had a couple of other spare scintillator parts for like £10 each. So I thought, right, I'm getting more scintillators then, because you never see them at that price. So for the people who don't know, I'll go over this quickly again. Scintillation detectors are generally for very, very low radiation readings because they amplify them. So you can find out if there's radiation from really far away, basically. Then the Geiger counters are pretty much your bread and butter all-round detectors. Geiger counters are jack of all trades things, They're pretty sensitive, but they're not the most sensitive things in the world. And there's pros and cons to Geiger-Müller counters, but generally they're pretty cheap to make and they cover quite a wide range of things. Then generally, historically, ionization chambers are like this detector, where you've got something designed for doomsday levels of radiation. But again, with modern electronics, you can get, ion chambers. I've got one on order from the States that can do very low, can do micro Rontgens as well. So let's go down to the lowest range. Right, there we go, Hype. It's almost down to where it should be now. It's less than 1 centigrade per hour. So over the course of having this turned on for like 40 minutes, we're slowly getting it back to where it should be. Yeah, that's a good point, Massimo, because, yeah, they're like a spectrogram, aren't they? Yeah, Stalker experience. Have you just done it? Because I generally try and sort them out, like in the morning for people when they do it. Hey, yeah, Stalker experience. Send personal message. Let me generate you a code. Just give me 1 moment. Invite. Edit invite link. I'll set it to expire after 12 hours because you're here at the moment. One use. There we go. I've generated you a new code. Message, measure code, sent. Thank you very much. There we are. In theory, Jesse, if it's sensitive enough, it should be able to, yeah, because scintillators are just really, really, really sensitive. Like Hypes, they're kind of like night vision devices that amplify light, just amplify radiation instead. I'm glad you enjoyed the video, Stalker. Try washing it every day, perhaps. If you fill a sink with soapy water that's not too hot, leave it to soak in there with the filter taken off, obviously, for a while. Oh, thank you, Vladimir. That's some really handy advice. So, immersion grease category 1107. I'll have to dismantle the probe and test that, but let's see if I can find anywhere that sells this stuff. I can only find the US seller. Let me just Google it on UK eBay. But thank you, Vladimir. That's exactly what I need to know. There's one from Russian Federation that's got £7 on the post. If I put immersion grease on, does it come up with more results if I don't put the... Right, anyway, what I'll do for now is I'll remember to look for some immersion grease, but I'll see if when I've got some more. Yeah, that was the one I found, Vladimir. I'll tell you what, I'll just cave in and buy that, I think. Suppose it's not too much, 20 odd quid. How long would 10 milliliter last? Probably quite a while, because you only use a tiny bit, don't you? And they've got really good. Let me just take my glasses off so people don't see my bank details reflected in them. Buy. Pay now. It's only like 15 to 20 quid, isn't it? In total. Because, yeah, I keep forgetting that when you translate stuff, it's not as bad as it seems. Right, there we go. Thank you, Vladimir. That's ordered. I can use that with my British scintillator counters as well I've got now. If you want something to cover alpha beta, lots of different things, I would say probably like one of those big ABEC 2P3 filters, but they'll be pretty bulky. Like I'd say 95% of them alpha beta. A couple have been like private sales, a couple have been like surplus stores, but nearly always eBay. At the moment, Adam, it's hard to recommend masks just because the prices are all crazy. But I would say if you didn't want them for protective value, just cool antique things like French M51s, Tragram 65s. Jesse, I think the reason you'd want to test the source is, for example, labs, if there's been a radiation leak, so they can find out what the radioisotope is and stuff like that. Again, it's a very lab-based thing, isn't it? Oh, I can answer what this means as well, Hype, because some of these came with a sticker and the documents. This one didn't. The limited calibration means they've done the actual radiation calibration tests, but they've not done the really, really high range test where they expose it to something like 20 sieverts per hour of radiation, put on the top thing and see if the needle goes off. So it basically means they've not done a super overload radiation test on it. But it means that when they've done the calibration, you know, on each range, the needle's gone to a few percent of where it should have done. Lots of these are like 2% accurate because of how modern the electronics are in them for an old ion chamber, which is pretty good. Patriot says, the Israeli one works better for me because of my beard. The M15 actually seals better with facial. That's very cool to know. They're all right, Abel. I mean, they might leak felt and charcoal all over your clothes, but they're comfortable enough. Anyway, that's slowly getting down to where it should be getting down to. Let me turn this off a second and we'll test the bulb in it. So you don't need the battery in it, by the way, to test the bulb. Because it's going to have to take a while to dry out, I'm going to put the base cover back on. I can always PM you some pictures later, Hype, if I can get, once it's gone to 0, if I can do some tests with it. But obviously I definitely won't contaminate your meter, but if I dig my americinium out the safe, I can do something, you know, like doing an AM 2-for-1 test to see if the needle moves when it gets to 0 as it should. No problem. It says it's been calibrated, and as I said, I have no reason to doubt this still isn't going to be pretty good, the calibration on it, because if you can't get the needle to go to 0 as it should do, or, you know, like 0 point something, what you can do is break the calibration seal and then just turn that dial down a bit further, because it might be over time it's drifted a bit on the calibration, but I think it's just it needs to dry out inside, like, you know, left on for about 4 hours on the battery. Yeah. Like I said, I love these old detectors because I'm really glad they didn't just throw away the old Mark II Radiacs, you know, because they're kind of iconic. I'm glad they just put better electronics in them. The problem with the MCU2P is the fact it, like, yellows horribly with age. That shed on fire be kind of what a scintillator does. I mean, inverse square law kind of detracts from that, but scintillators are very good at that. Scintillators, because of how they work. But like Vladimir said, it's sadly you can't do it simply like that. But scintillators do let you detect radiation from far away. But it's kind of difficult, isn't it? Because there's different ways of measuring radiation, different factors. Right. Okay. So No, Martini, my radiation levels in the rain have been fine here, but other people have reported they've been quite high. So the recent rain we've got has been normal rain, but most masks don't do well in sunlight, no. Anyway, let me test the lamp for you, Hype, now. And if the lamp bulb doesn't work, I'll put you a brand new LED bulb in there. So it's a really bright thing. So what we'll do, take the battery out of this compartment. Because you can use the lamp without actually having a battery in the main unit for some reason. I think because just the lamp's on a completely separate mechanism. So the lamp, put the one in that says lamp there on the top. I'm kind of tempted with some of these old retro Geigers and ion chambers to just do tutorial videos on like how to set them up out of the box, because there's probably a lot of people confused. Yeah, the problem the old incandescent bulbs on here is they're never really bright enough. You know, you can see them in a dark room, but you still struggle to read the reading. Right, let's see if it goes on. So when you've got the switches on with, it's pretty self-explanatory. The one that says, although it might not focus on there, on with lamp means it's turned on and the lamp's powered on. On the other one, the lamp circuit isn't powered. Oh, your lamp works as it is. There you go. But if you want an LED in there, I can do one for you. But you probably can't see of the ceiling light on, but the actual lamp in there is turned on. See that? If I hold it at that angle and move the switch, you might see it go on and off. See that? So little old incandescent bulb is still working in this one. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that stalker experience, but that's cool. But yeah, let me just quickly, because obviously this bulb still works, let's just quickly have a play with an LED, because I want to see how bright the LED is in comparison. So yeah, the bulb changing mechanism in this, there's a screw on the side. You unscrew that, and then the bulb is on a little probe, which goes in to touch the little electrode in there. It's really like the most idiot-proof design is possible. So that's wired on, although it doesn't need to be wired on, because like I said, these hold the bulb absolutely fine without the wire. So let's get the wire off. There we go. So there's your old incandescent bulb. It's the same bulbs they use in the British, it's behind me, these exact same bulbs, the old decimeter pen chargers, little tiny Edison screw bulbs. So yeah, there's, whoop, nearly dropped the thing. Notice it's the same metal as well. It's like all of this old British ROC and military stuff was made from the same kind of aluminium. Let's try an LED bulb in it. So that's literally what I bought a lot of these for, was to put in old like decimeter chargers and things to make them a lot brighter. So that should just grip in there like that. There we go. And then let's pop this guy in there and try him. And hopefully it is a lot brighter. I've seen some other people who've been doing this with radiation detectors, like where you see pictures of them online or videos, and yeah, that's a nice thing. It's not some weird obsolete bulb. It is just literally a pretty standard. The only issue is getting this to go in kind of straight. This is one of those like screws that can be a bit, I don't want to force it, you know, because it's brush. There we go. I think it's turning now. Yeah, it's a bit stiff, but it's turning. Right, let's test this now with this bulb and see. Right, that's not on straight because it's not powering up. Let's get him in a bit tighter. No, it's not powering on. If not, I'll go back to the original bulb. It should work fine with an LED because it's literally just delivering the same voltage to an LED bulb. All right, is that on YouTube, Mike? But yeah, I'd watch you if it was Twitch or YouTube. The bulbs come loose, that's why in there. Right, I might have to open up this entire thing in a minute to sort this bulb out, because I don't know if you can see what's happened there, where the LED bulb is a bit fatter. The LED bulb has come slightly out of the holder. Oh no, I got him out. It's all right. I mean, it should work fine. It's just getting it to press neatly, I think, against the contact. If I go to the lamp mode, I just want to see, can I get that bulb to contact in? Weapon Collector's channel is literally there. But yeah, there we go. Horace Wong says multimeter. What's the multimeter for, Horace Wong, other than... what, so you're saying it could be the different way around polarity-wise? I mean, these are meant to be set up so you can replace them in old things. That's why I bought them. And I've used these type of things before and they've worked fine. But they should be set up, because I did try it in a torch earlier, one of these, like an old incandescent torch, and it worked fine. So this should be fine. I think it's just because these are, if you see from the size, the shape of them is a little bit different. I think that's where the issue's coming in. No, Briggs, whenever I stream at this time of day, the chats are a lot more calm and nice. The issue is always... So yeah, for now, I'll just put the incandescent back in. I think that's why they probably had the little bit of wire around it, just to keep it tight in the thing. But if I put the incandescent back in for now, and then I can always have a go later on for you if need be. Getting that to work. It might be I just have to take the whole thing apart, do the bulb that way. Because I think, again, yeah, the issue is... Yeah, that's why I had wire on this one, because it obviously doesn't grip the bulbs as tight as some of these do. Like I said, I've got the wire there. I didn't throw it away. I never throw them away on these things, but... I think, yeah, the reason they might have had the wire there was just so the bulb grips really tightly onto the thing like that. Although, saying that, if I have the bulb on there like that with this one, can I just do that with the LED? You see, this is the thing. I'm not nerdy enough into electronics when people start talking about how polarity differs on various devices to agree or disagree with them. I will say I will leave it to the experts, who are not me. I've kind of just tried to learn enough electronics that if there's a very simple fault with an old Geiger or whatever, I can get it going. But other than that, I'm not very useful, I'm afraid. Geiger Guy 93? That's an interesting name, but... Sometimes when I do Geiger counter videos, people complain that's not a gas mask, or why isn't this a weapon? Well, it's related to weapons. It's related to CBRN warfare. Right, hopefully that will grip it in tight again now. So let's pop that in there. Screw it in. It sounds like it's going in tight now. CBRN and stuff 93. That actually works, that one. Nah, it's still not working. I'll just probably put the original bulb in there for you now, Hype, and then if you want to mess about with that later on, you can do. And again, it's flipped round the wrong way. Right. Now to get the bulb out. Right, I might have to open up the entire meter for you, but I'll do that once the stream ends and sort that out. But yeah, what I can actually do though, if I end up opening up the entire unit, is mess about with the bulbs with the unit open to, you know, just manually push them onto the contacts properly and see if they light up or not. Because sometimes the issue of that little bulb holder is quite hard to get the angle right. So once you screw it in, sometimes it will be a perfect seal and it lights up. it's a good idiot-proof design, but the issue is that remotely trying to put a bulb on a little probe onto a bulb's contact doesn't always work. But yeah. When I do proper videos, not normally Stalker. Now and again, I will do videos with the phone camera, but that's not my main way of doing videos. Oh, there we go. I've got him out. Normally, when I do videos, I use the... I think the wire's fallen off in there as well. Yeah, but as I said, the backlight on this is pretty primitive. All it is, literally, is there's a bulb. I don't know if you can see my finger there. Probably not. There's literally just the bulb goes at an angle to the screen, so some of the light shines in. The issue is a lot of the light is wasted because it's not really a proper backlight. It's kind of just a light slightly above one edge of the screen, so the light comes in at an angle. But anyway, there we go. But I'll tell you what I'll do for now. I'll leave the bulbs out and play them out with that for you later. Just before I end the stream, let's put this bit back closed on here without a bulb in it. And I said I'll sort the bulb out for you at a later point before I send it, because it still might be a while before we can send parcels like this due to all the corona malarkey. Yeah, thank you, Abel. I'm glad you enjoy them at the moment. I think they're keeping me sane just as much as other people sane, because it's sort of people to talk to. Because I'm in that sort of situation at the moment where a lot of people I'd normally talk to aren't about, you know. So, you know, I can't talk to my co-workers. I can't, you know. Right, so let's pop this guy back in there. So yeah, interestingly, Hype, I don't know if I showed you, yeah, that's what I do like with this. You don't have to do that. But yeah, see this. This is still the old holder that would have contained this thing for putting the obsolete batteries on. It's just the obsolete batteries don't connect to anything inside now. They've taken the contacts away that they used to go on. But yeah, I kind of really like how retrofitted these are, where it's the same exact old case. It's just everything, you know, is simple, rather than it being, oh, this bit connects to this bit, which connects to this bit. These LED bulbs shouldn't have that issue because I bought them to work with old, you know, 3-volt incandescent torches. And it did work in a 3-volt incandescent torch. And well, saying that's a 1.5 volt, so it could be that. But saying that, Horace, if it is just a case of that, it probably would be possible to get 2 smaller batteries to a D cell, tape them together, put them in there, then it would be 3 volts for that bulb. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good point, Horace. I didn't think of that, but yeah, you were correct there. While it might work in 3-volt flashlights with 2 AA's or AAA's in there, that could be the problem with this. But anyway, let's flick this guy back on. And where is the reading going now? Right, the reading is just slightly over 1 centigrade now, Hype. So what I have to do for you is leave this on all afternoon. Tell you what I might actually do is I might get one of my rechargeable D cells so I don't completely run down a regular D cell leaving it turned on. That's all cool, Hype. Thank you very much. But yeah, so I'll have a play about with this anyway for you this afternoon while I'm doing other stuff and see if I can get the reading to go completely to 0 like it should do for you. If you want me to and it doesn't go down on its own, what I'll do is I'll take the old calibration sticker from nearly 20 years ago off, and then I'll just mess with the calibration, and then you can do it pretty easily that way. But yeah, there's a couple of factors that could be going on there that's making it an issue. My favourite CBRN filter, as much as they're a bit old everyday preps, I like the old Avon S10 style ones. They called the PF10 because it's just a nice solid plastic case, which had, you know, pretty good CBRN protection in the filter. But anyway, I'll be off now. Thank you for everybody that donated or joined on the Patreon or whatever, and thank you for all the people coming on having a good conversation. RAF Bryce Norton is not very far from where I live, Alex, and when I volunteer at the Blue Cross, that is very close to Bryce Norton. Also, I did review this for tomorrow, Hype. Finally got around to it. So anyway, there you go. Right, stay safe, everybody. Have a good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever your time zone is. and I'll see you, Mike, on your stream tonight. And I am going to just recharge some D-cell batteries and run them in that rate meter for hype for probably like 10 hours straight. I think, just as I go off hype, I think those MD3s are meant to last like 100, 200 odd hours on a D-cell. So anyway, yeah, see you all. Good evening, goodbye, Auf Wiedersehen, whatever.